starting out with my favorite people. God first, wife second, and the children, a very close third. Love them all, my very favorite people.
Was driving the van that night who did this to Mr. Stark. Looking for answers.
Ready?
Yeah.
Investigators turn to the autopsy
Did you
results.
set it?
Come on, yeah.
When the medical examiner examines Mr. Stark's body,
Now do a circle.
determines
Do a
that the
circle.
cause of death
Do the one the other way, the other direction.
or
Now ride somewhere.
someone put so much pressure on Mr. Stark's chest that he couldn't breathe.
Okay.
Suffocated.
Say Merry Christmas.
That's one.
Hey little sister, what have you done? Hey little sister, who's the only one? Hey little sister, who's your Superman? Hey little sister, who's the one you want? Hey little sister, shotgun. It's a nice day to start again. It's a nice day for a wife.
Okay, welcome to another amazing Last Days with Michael Evans. Today I'm going to be doing something a little different, a lot different. As a matter of fact, I've never done anything like this before. It's not a how-to, it's how I do, and it's something new that I haven't done in years and years, and I just want to share it with you. This is called a monkey fist. It's a martial arts weapon. I'm almost certain it's used in Hung Gar. Maybe it's Wing Chun, but it's a tiny little ball. What you're seeing is me using wax parts and literally welding them together with a wax welder. And so here I am. I'm dipping the wax cones that I make for the outer part of the monkey fist, and filing them down there and making them a little thicker at the entrance where I weld them on, and you file that all the way around after you dip it and let it cool. I dip those 3 times each, by the way. And then you take a pair of pliers and very gently remove them from the cone and stack them up till you've got as many as you're going to need to go on the monkey fist, the spikes that we're making. And you just repeat the process. You dip them, take them off the cone, file them a bit, remove them with the pliers. And in this case, I believe, let's see, I had maybe 13 cones. Let me see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, yep, 13 cones. Very unlucky number for somebody. And then I just keep accumulating, keep making little production, one-man production line there, and keep making these cones. I had carved the ball out of jeweler's wax, or actually machinist wax, carves a little better, a little earlier, and then put the back end to it. Literally went ahead and drilled in the wax. It's a lot easier to work in wax than it is metal. Once you poured the metal, it takes machinist tools, and it's a lot more difficult to get it right. And plus, if you mess something up, you can just very easily dab a little wax in there and redo it. very easy to fix. There's my cone that I'm using. And here I am. What I do is I just dip it in hot wax. I use a little slow cooker there, and I put my machinist and jeweler's wax in there. It's good to combine them. It works really good. And then you dip it, bring it out, let it cool, dip it, bring it out, let it cool. And like I said, I do most of them I do 3 times, and then I'll let it cool, file it down, and remove it, stack them up till I've got all of them made. The last one, I made a little fancier. I dipped it 7 times, which made it thicker, much thicker, and I put a twist to it. When I would take it out of the hot wax to give it a twist, you roll it to one side and keep twisting it till it solidifies, and you have a longer point on it, and it's the one that goes on the very end of the ball or the monkey fist. So it's pretty repetitive, and yet another spike, and it's called the monkey fist. If you use it for an attachment on your keychain, then it's just as legal as can possibly be. And if you ever use it as a weapon, it's called a monkey fist. You use it like the monkey paw in martial arts. And it's also, this particular one is made like a medieval mace. So it's a very effective weapon, and it's very illegal to use it as a weapon. And so this is the process that I go through, and I may or may not put some artwork. I've got wax letters that I can put into it and attach to it. Use the little wax welder and put whatever words that you want to put on there, and it's a very effective, let's just call it a keychain, and a very effective self-defense weapon. If it's absolutely necessary. You could stand off easily, not be that very physically fit. You have to have courage. That you can't be without. You'll lose without it. But if you're brave enough to use it, one man can stand off several people with all sorts of weaponry. Anything short of a gun or a bow and arrow, you should stand up pretty good with it. So for some reason it went to slow motion here. That's kind of weird. But like I said, I believe this is Hungar that this comes from. And it's not my favorite weapon, not by a long shot. Traditionally I use a set of nunchucks. They're very concealable, so forth. So it's a very good weapon though, and this one in particular is my first cast. I just have built or started a foundry, and I've built my furnace. I've got 2 more furnaces to build for different size meltings and pourings. But what I'll do is I'll make this out of brass. I've got a mixture of brass and copper that I'll use for this particular one, and it makes for a pretty sturdy tool. Well, like I said, a very heavy keychain. You won't lose those keys, I'll guarantee you. And so this one will be made out of mostly brass. And quite frankly, I'm not quite sure what you would call it. Maybe it's still brass with the extra copper in it, and maybe just a smidgen softer. So that's my wax welder. Costs $20. Buy it from any jewelry supply store. Takes a AA battery. Have to change them often. But the tip heats up and you weld the wax pieces in place. Letters are one piece of wax to another piece. And eventually you've got all the spikes on there and you put it in an investment or plaster of Paris basically, and burn the wax out and pour the molten brass in. Let it cool, clean it, attach a rope or leather to it, and you've got one heck of a good keychain / weapon. Now that's a monkey paw. It's actually a monkey fist and a mace all in one. Medieval mace, ancient Chinese martial arts monkey fist, and you use it like the monkey paw. So it's a very simple little heavy brass weapon, and you attach a rope or a small chain of some sort that's very strong, a loop that will not break. Attach it here at the bottom and you swing it. It's got great momentum, and with these spikes on here, which is my idea. Actually, somebody in the Middle Ages, some really mean person, came up with that idea, but that was on the mace, and it was a little different. A lot different. And so this is a martial arts tool with a medieval flair. Works really good. If you're like me, you're nice, you don't want to bother anybody, but you don't want to be bothered. And so apparently at 66 I look like a target. In certain points in my life I must have, but I'm not. Really nice fella, and I feel bad after I do something, but I'll do something. I'll not be the victim. So this is not being the victim, and I hope you enjoy watching me do this. We're going to cast this up just as soon as I can. I'm building a foundry, and weapons is what I make. I make swords, and I'll give you another example how I combine Middle Ages and martial arts. Ancient skills of martial arts, they're not all useful in street fighting. They're not. And there's The reason for that take a really long time to explain, so I won't take that time. I'll just tell you, you have to pick and choose what works for you. And so weaponry works for me. I'm old, I've got arthritis, but I still remember my kata. You do your moves, and such as this is an extension of your body, and a very painful one. Well, I know I mentioned that this is like it's a monkey paw, it's a monkey fist, and it's a medieval mace all in one. It's made of bronze, it won't break. You spin it very rapidly, and you thump people. I actually try not to hit people in the head. The sword that I made was more of a ninja sword, and it's high carbon folded steel. It's a battle blade, battle ready blade. It's high quality blade. And so basically what I did was I ordered the blade, and I made the handles for it and the handguard. And that's actually doing a lot, and I'm getting ready to cast these things up. I put a regular, it's a ninja style. It's not a curved blade like the Japanese, well, it's not a normal katana. It's more like a ninja style straight blade. It is a straight blade. It, very art carved and pretty and very functional. And so the difference between the ninja sword and the katana, the curved sword used by the samurai, is this one that I made. I had to make it very long. And so it's a lot longer straight blade than you'll see. It's a two-handed sword, and it has a double hand grip on it. So it's a combination there again of medieval sword, such as the two-handed sword or the Scottish claymore. It's the length of a Scottish claymore. It's lighter and it's better made. More slim and faster to use, and probably a lot sharper. So that's what I do. I make swords, I make knives, I make tanto knives and different style handles on exactly the same blade. I'll grab one. This is actually a handle taken off of something else and green electrical tape, so it's not a good example. The idea is that's a tanto blade. These things used to cost hundreds of dollars. I can get the blanks for a little less than that now. They're very high quality steel, and then I put the handle.
Superman, hey little sister, who's the one you want? Hey little sister, shotgun. It's a nice day to start again. It's a nice day for a white.
Okay, this is a fold-up blade made out of decapitated my finger there. Anyway, it's a fold-out made from a tree saw, and it works really good. Biggest fold-out blade you're going to see anytime soon. And I made this same blade, put a nice walnut handle on it. Not through with it by a long shot. I'll make a little hand guard. I'll do carvings in the handle. I may put a brass something with my name in it or somebody's name in it. I've got more. Wasn't prepared. So that's what I do. And if you want one, just mention in the comments, let me know, and we'll be in touch. Okay, I'm back. I just wanted to talk about some of the things that I make here. You know, back last year when I turned 65, I did a video that said things that you do when you turn 65. Well, I'm going to do a few separate ones of things you do when you turn 66. And I came back to the Philippines. I live here now with my wife. Miss my grandbaby so bad I can hardly stand it, but it's the way it has to be for the moment until I can get my wife to the States, if it's possible to do that. But you know, God said that next to God, the wife comes first. God comes first, the wife comes second, children come third. So I'm trying to do everything that I'm supposed to be doing. So anyway, back to being 66 years old. You know, I've got a lot of time, and I can do things that I've been learning to do and wanting to do as hobbies and so forth, and side hustles, I guess, for a long time. For example, I'm building a foundry. I've got a shop you would not believe. I'll show pictures of it before this video is over. Some snapshots. I've shown them a couple of times. I've got tools, hand tools, woodworking tools, wax carving tools, wax melting tools, wax forming tools. I've got wax for lost wax casting, machinist wax, and wood. I make knives, I make swords, I make martial arts weaponry, and I use them also is the reason I'm interested in making them. And so I kind of make them for myself, and then I sell them if anybody's interested. What I want to do is rearrange the camera, fix my lighting a little bit, and show you some of the stuff I make. Okay, now we're on cinematic. We're a little crooked, but best I can do. I'm at the kitchen table. All right, I'm going to show you this. If I make the light hit it just right, what I did is I took a sticker, a bumper sticker, and I used that as kind of a pattern, and I made a form for this. And this one I messed up when I poured it, but this is wax. It's not jeweler's wax, it's machinist wax. I've got jeweler's wax, and I kind of mix them together sometimes. It makes them almost like wood, and yet just a tiny bit gummy so I can work with it. But there's this one. I've made another one. This one I'm going to use as the back, probably, or for a hand guard. A paperweight. Could be a hand guard for a sword. And let's see. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Something like that. The date and the name on the back. Okay, this is a hand guard. As you can see, the blade slides through here. I've got to make the, actually I've got the side pieces. It's a lion on each side. And I'll weld it on in wax. I literally have a wax welder. You'll see it in the video. It's the little white thing that looks like a fat pen. And it welds wax. It melts it and welds it as you go along. And so these are Stars of David. And I had to carve that out so I could get the blade through there. And I'll do some fancy wax work here on the side and put the lions there. And what this says is, if God is for you, who can be against you? And that's your handguard. And another idea was to take this and put it on the back, weld it together, and make it into one solid handguard. And you've got art and different things on both sides. Now this one is the second one that I cast, and it came out really nice. So I cast in wax, I cast in brass, bronze, copper, silver, gold, or whatever you can, aluminum, even aluminum. And that would make a good handguard, either way you look at it. So, giving you some ideas. I'm a grandpa. I'm 66 years old. I kind of need to stay busy. Plus I need a side hustle. And I've got a lot of subscribers, but I'm not monetized yet, so I kind of need a side hustle. And keep it fun, though, not a job. And so, this is my combination monkey fist. I believe it's from Hungar. I've studied Hungar, Wing Chun Kung Fu, Taekwondo, Tang Soo Do, and Judo. Almost forgot. Been a long time. So, and my favorite was always the weaponry. And so, for many years now, I have no idea what that was. Something scratching to get out of the cabinet. Probably a lizard. So anyway, where was it? Oh, I've been making weapons, or tools, or woodwork, or carvings, relief carvings mostly, since I was a little boy. And so this is just kind of a grown-up version of what I used to do. I was busy for years and years. I had to work, and now I'm drawing retirement, and I've got time to make stuff like this. And just kind of let your imagination go. And if you want something like this, let me know. We'll get together and come up with new ideas and make some things. Personalize it. And so, let me see. This is the monkey fist and a mace all at the same time. It could not be more illegal. It's probably illegal in every country. There may be some third world countries. They don't know what it is. And you might could get away with it till you use it, which is fine. You know, there's a saying, it's better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. I agree completely. I have never once, not once in my life, started a fight. I'm a Christian man now. Haven't always been. But even at my worst, I was polite. And I never started a fight. Never made a man fight me. But I've had people attack me. You would not believe how many fights I've been in. And what I usually hear them say is, boy, I didn't see that coming. So, all right. Here's my next carving. Now, there's a way to cast. Instead of setting the stone, you set it in the wax. You use the lost wax casting, leave the stone in there, and sometimes you don't run the stone. It's a beautiful crystal that I have. I bought this in, I traded for it. A man in Hong Kong, Simsa Shui in Hong Kong, really close to Victoria Harbor. And he was just in the back, not really back alley, but a back area of a large building that had a lot of tiny little businesses in it. I don't know how people survive living like that. But he was desperate to do business, and I asked him how much he wanted for the stone, and he said, whatever you want to give me. And I handed him a bunch of pocket change, and he was very happy. So, anyway, this is another one of my ideas, and as you can see, it says, we trust in God. Or another way to say it is, in God we trust. He said either way. And it's got the stone in there. And what this is a cane handle. And a cane is also used in martial arts many times. I trained briefly. I got a little routine that if I were to need to use it, and I prefer the crooked handle, but this could be used as a mace of types. If you see somebody that in their forehead it says in God we trust, you know who they tangled with. So anyway, this will fit into the cane, and you'll use an adhesive, you'll use a brass pin or two, probably two. It'll be fit in there with another guard that goes in the opposite direction, most likely. You won't be able to see how it's held in there, and it's very permanent. Not something that's going to rattle around. It's something that'll last for generations and be in very good shape. But this, like I said, this is another idea, and I probably will do a diamond pattern before I cast this up. And you can see the detail. It's kind of got a medieval look to it, kind of. And a little rough. All right, let's see. This could be a lot of things, but what I'm thinking I'm going to do, just like this is a monkey fist, this also can be a monkey fist. And what I'm thinking about doing is fitting this together, making a hole to it where your rope comes through. You just tie a knot in the end of it. And it's a little wider. It's got that rim around it that'll do damage. And I don't think you'd have to worry about killing anybody unless you hit them in the temple. Most likely. And it's a weight where you can wrap their neck and hold them, put them in a hold pretty quick and easy, or just thump their knees and whatever they stick out there to kick you or hit you. You thump it with this and they go away. So that's another. Probably put some artwork on it. And this one is for my sister. It's a cane handle. I do canes, walking canes. I do woodwork, relief carvings in the wood sometimes. Sometimes I just do geometric patterns. Diamond patterns are real popular. Celtic knotwork's popular. And elephants have not been popular. It's just an idea that I had. It was nagging me. So this is for my sister. This is 2024, the year that I made it. It is still 2024. Star of David. There's a lion. I don't know if I can get it to focus. Uh-oh. No. Anyway, there's a lion there. And on top, you can see, if I can get it, it says her name, Aline. Let me turn it over. There we go. If I get it backwards, probably get it backwards. Yeah. Aline. Probably shows up backwards on the camera. So, another thing that I do, I make canes, I make staffs, I do art carvings of all sorts. I used to make nunchucks and put little martial arts figures doing kata. Put the kata in, actually carve it all the way around in the handles. This is a weird little weapon that I came up with. Now these were two walking canes and they're dragon heads. And I haven't stained them or painted them since I was tooling around with it. But I've got it I've got it solid. It's made really good. It just doesn't look good at the moment. Oh, there it is. There's the dragon head. And they're just, actually, cheap, made in China dragon head canes. That's a cane handle is what that is. But if you look, I've got one on the exact other side. So I'm not using it for a cane handle. And this is the back. I spliced it, and I put the rubber bands for a slingshot. And what you can do is you can actually hold it like a slingshot and put a metal ball or marble and use it as a slingshot. It works really good. It's really strong. It's made of local bamboo. And also, you can use it as a bow and arrow. And what you do is you put the arrow here in the middle. Trying to think of the word that you would use, like a, what do you use to put through meat and vegetables and put it on a skewer? I can't remember. Anyway, the piece of wood. And a straight piece of wood, and you just put it in there with a sharp point on it. You hold it like this, and like a bow and arrow. And so I don't have a price on these things. I keep coming up with these ideas, and I'm making them and setting them aside. But it's an idea. Oh, and I have a wood burning tool that I thought would kind of be neat, and I could put people's names, martial art figures, animals, scenery. It's an idea. Put the date, somebody's birth date, and it's a something that lasts for generations. If you don't do anything else, you hang it on the wall. It's a pretty good conversation piece, but it's functional. Everything that I make is functional. I won't get my sword out right now because I don't have the handle on it, the handguard, and I want to complete it before I show it anymore. But I'm pretty sure that this is the handguard that I'm going to put on there. If God is for you, let me turn it up. If God is for you, who can be against you? And you know, I just hate leaving it like that. I want to put more artwork, and I can't think of anything. I've got to clean this up a little bit. And I built one of my furnaces today. I need to make a lid for it. I've got two more, basically, I've got a 55, half of a 55 gallon drum and a lid for it. A roller dolly that I made the other day for it. And another kind of a square bucket with an oil container. And I made a, pretty sure it was a 5 gallon bucket, mini furnace. I almost called it a foundry, but a foundry is the whole setup. It's not just the furnace. So I'm getting set up pretty good. I had forgotten how to do a lot of this, and I'm getting back into it in a big way. So I do lost wax casting, carving, wax carving, design. I weld. I do all kinds of things. I make stuff. I do relief carvings, and I've got a million ideas, and I'd love to hear a million more. So even if you don't want anything done, you know, you could put in the comment section something, ideas. I'm all for it. And criticism, don't be too harsh. I'm kind of sensitive. I think I am. So anyway, I got a lot of ideas to make things. And so this is another thing. And you know, people that study martial arts from Asia, we're in Southeast Asia, and we're not far from Japan, we're not far from Taiwan and China, and all the places that they're martial arts. The Philippines has its own version of martial arts, and a lot of the places do. Even Vietnam, a lot of people aren't familiar with that. I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head. But it's mostly open hand technique. Very interesting. That's so many kicks, the open hand takedown. They're pretty effective, fairly effective. I don't know that I would use it in a street fight, but they're smaller people, and it's kind of effective for them against other smaller people. And so a lot of the martial arts, the traditional martial arts, they're ancient for a reason. They came up with these ideas, and a lot of times it would be one martial art against the other martial art. And then what you have to do, like I said, is pick and choose. Most of the weaponry is actually pretty handy. I had a conversation, I won't say an argument, because I would have definitely lost. My Kung Fu instructor, he actually taught Taekwondo, Wing Chun Kung Fu, and Judo. And this was a long time ago. And we had a conversation about which was a better weapon. And he prefers a bow. It's a 72-inch straight, strong staff or stick. And I disagreed with him. And I was telling him that the nunchuck, and a lot of people disagree with me, that the nunchuck is a better weapon. But the reasoning is I can carry my nunchucks in the small of my back, in my pants, in a shoulder holster, under a jacket. You'll never know I've got them. And if I don't need them, I won't pull them out. I'm not a showboat. I leave people alone. I can't tell you how many times I've had to use them. I've had them save my life. They're a good weapon. On the other hand, you know, David got pretty upset with me when I disagreed with him about it. Well, he's right, and yet he's wrong, and here I'll explain. If you see a man with a 72-inch stick walking down the road, side of the road, walks in the bar, walks in the post office, you can't walk in the post. You can't get on a plane with, you can't get on a plane with nunchucks anymore. Now they've got the body scanner, especially international flights. But you might actually swing it. You might actually could if you had it in the small of your back. You might pull that off. But wouldn't want to try. You probably wind up missing your flight. So anyway, I was telling David that the nunchuck, at the time, it was a much better weapon. And, you know, you have to go with the times, like I said. And my idea is I can take a set of nunchucks and have them in a relaxed position, sitting down, looking completely unprepared. You can be in a stance coming at me. You can have a knife. Hopefully you won't have a gun. There's not a lot I can do about that. But, or just be able and big and strong and have the reach. And you come at me, I take the nunchuck from a sitting position and I'll take you and 6 other people out. Because it increases my reach by 30 inches. It is an extension of me. So if I know how to fight, it improves my ability by leaps and bounds. You can generate 2,000 pounds of pressure with the nunchuck. And you can spin them at about 200 miles per hour. I could. And I've got arthritis, I'm old, there's days I just can't. I could probably use them with one hand. I'd be very limited with what I could do. And, but once upon a time, I was good enough, and I could take on 5, 6 people at a time. I've done it several times. And so, David would have beat the living stuffings out of me if I were to go one-on-one with him, no hold barred, and that's the way he liked to fight. Yeah, actually, I have to agree with him on that. No pit-pat, no sparring, because that always escalates, and then somebody thinks it's not, something wasn't fair. If you're gonna fight. And so, I came pretty close to it. I'm sure David was not happy with me, and hate to call him a bully. I hope he's still alive actually, but I hope he doesn't see this tape. He's, hopefully he's what, 70 something? I could probably still run. Anyway, David could have beat me, but I'm a martial artist. I'm not, or at least I was, I'm not a thug on the street trying to hurt you, trying to think of how I'm going to take your money, how I'm going to ruin your day, or just criminally minded and just want to entertain myself by thinking I can beat you up. I'm not like that. I keep it low level, I'm polite, I stay in the background until you force my hand. I don't bother anybody. And so for him to challenge me pretty much was challenging me. It came really close to that. Well, that's just not necessary, you know. And him being able to beat me did not make him right. The better weapon to have is one that you can conceal and not use it until you absolutely have to. You have the elements of power, and you've got a lot of advantage because you almost got the reach. You just can't carry a 72-inch stick around. You can carry the nunchuck. Nobody knows it doesn't threaten people. You're probably not going to have to use it. So, anyway, that was interesting. I walked down memory lane. But being a Christian, I firmly believe that God said, "Thou shalt not kill." He did not say, you can't defend yourself. If somebody comes up and starts grabbing on your wife, they're drunk, or they're obnoxious, they're high on something, and it happens. It really does. There's people, a lot more these days, that will just step out of line and be threatening with children, or maybe beating their wife up. What are you going to just stand there and, oh, it's not my business. I'm not like that. So, yeah, you know, the nunchuck, good weapon. Any weapon that you can keep concealed. And when you get my age, 66, you're a lot better off keeping your distance anyway. And I have no problem with throwing a rock at you if that's what I got to do to win the situation. I'm just so that's my lecture on the martial arts these days. Like I said, I believe it's okay to be a Christian and a martial artist. You must not be a bully. You must not advertise and be fighting people. You know what? Here's the bottom line. Stay out of the bar. You're probably going to avoid about 80% of your fights as an adult. If you're where you belong, at home, with your wife and children, you're probably going to be fine. Sometimes you grab up the kids and you go to the park and some knucklehead's been acting crazy and wants to hurt somebody or chase your daughter around or something. No, by all means. You have to take care of this situation. So that's the reason you would take martial arts. And there are ways to avoid all that, and the training is just use the weaponry and have something you can use as a legal weapon. Doesn't have to be a gun, although it can be. And just make sure you use it when the time's right, or don't use it. And like I said, you know, weaponry's fine, and better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. My mom. So that's about all I got to say. I didn't finish the thing on my sister's cane handle. I put the elephants in there and put the date, put the Star David, carved little knickknacks. There's two separate elephants, by the way, and I just couldn't come up with anything for the handle. I was going to do the famous diamond pattern for the grip, and I said, you know what, I've done enough. I've kind of got a rough texture, a hand carved. You can see where I took the little blade and just did little nicks in the handle, and it's kind of like it reminds me of some of the samurai handguards, how they would use the hammer and leave the tool marks on it. And for some reason, I really like that, so I left tool marks on this, and you can kind of see a little tool mark in the seam here and this where I stuck it together in wax and built it the way to flattened everything out. So you got the file work underneath, and I didn't put anything in there. I made a spot to put a name or something and just didn't. I liked it like it was. So anyway, if you know anybody wants an unusual birthday present, then make a comment. Let me know. I'll check them periodically, and it won't be a rapid process. And we'll put our heads together and come up with something. Use your imagination. So I'm going to go take pictures of my equipment in the before stage, and then I'll do another video, the after stage. And I'll put this together. So until next time, this is Amazing Last Days with Michael Evans.